And then we got all of these messages, all from the same guy. I need mine now. I need mine now. Okay, you sold me. I need mine now. I'm in love. I can't wait. How much longer do I have to wait? I love this guy. If you're anything like me and you won't buy anything until you hear reviews, check out what our first customers had to say after using the rack for the first time.
This is the Cadillac of bike racks. I don't think there's any doubt, and I'm pretty sure that's the market you're aiming for, I would guess. The faster the better, and the simpler the better. And, this one fulfills all of that.
Buying a Mach 2 was, supporting a US company, which was part of it for me. But wanting a simple rack that would pretty much hold up to any bike I could get in the future. I was thinking mountain bikes, maybe fat tire bikes, anything this thing could hold and transport with no worries. Took me all of I think 3 minutes to get it on the
What
hitch.
took you so long?
I know, right? I was looking at there's got to be more to this, but it was pretty simple.
Both bikes on there, what I did notice, it's the most solid rack I've ever seen. The thing, it's light, but nothing bounces. It's just solid. So I was really pleased with that. What I was really noticeable was it was much more stable. It held the bike much more stably than the previous racks we've had like that. It was much more stable. Second thing is the pieces are lighter. They're probably, I'd have to go weigh them again, but I think they're several pounds lighter than the ones on the previous rack we had. So it's a lot easier to put it on the car. And I seriously think I can get the rack on the car with a bike on it in less than 30 seconds out of the garage.
I was putting weight on it and it wasn't flexing or doing anything. I was putting my weight on it, so it didn't do anything.
So this is my daughter's bike, and this is one of the things that I really liked about this rack. I think it can even go down to 12-inch tires. This is a 16-inch bike, and I can easily set this up for all of us to go ride together. And so, come over here. As you can see on each of these arms, they have the quick release. I just slide that down, push it in, and I can, depending on where I put the bike, I can get it to set on there. And it'll hold the bike just fine. If you do go to a smaller tire, like I was saying, I believe you can go down to a 12-inch tire. You can easily unthread this spool. Come a little bit closer so they can see. So these just spin off.
Ooh.
There's a bolt inside of it.
Go down
Push
a
that
little
in. And spin that back on. And then I can make that even smaller if I need to. So that is one thing that I really like. It makes it easy to take everybody in our family bike riding without trying to switch a bunch of the little pins or anything like that to load all of our bikes. I also found, if coming a little bit closer, if I just put my hand on the lever and I hold it just even with this slide arm so that the red and the silver arms are even, and just hold it, it goes down quietly with no squeak or whatever you want to call that. So
I really like that whole structure and the modular rack thing. Only way to go. I mean, I don't know how do people manage some of these 50 and 70 pound Thule racks. I mean, I don't even understand how. I mean, I would just so totally not want that. It would be just, I wouldn't take my bike before I'd use that. It's that bad. I mean, you have to leave it on your car all year long or something. I mean, it's a project. It's a two-person project to put it on the car. And this thing, I can do it with one hand, and I can have a bike on the car in 30 seconds. So, I mean, what's the choice? Pretty straightforward.
one thing that I like this rack about, like more about this rack than other racks, is that I could either use it with one bike or I could add up to 4. I know the one up, a lot of times they say if you just buy the single bike rack, you can only have a max of 3 bikes. And this one will allow you to do 4 per their specifications. So,
You know, with the other racks I've had, you always had to buy additional parts. You wanted to throw the fat bike on there. And this one, it just fits. So it's, yeah, this thing worked out really, really well. You know, I don't have to use that little special tool anymore. All of that stuff was just so much better.
The good thing about this rack, going through the process of like opening it, putting it on, and then putting it away, I put it back in the boxes because I'm not going to need it for a little bit. I could easily fold it up and throw it in the car. If, you know, we're staying overnight somewhere, I would take the bike inside and just take the rack off and throw it in the car. I mean, it's so easy to get on and off that it's not a concern of like, will this fit in my car? Am I going to have to drag this thing inside? It folds up so small that it won't take up any space in the car.
and holds the bike secure. I haven't had any issues with them wobbling or moving. I've used the bike rack about 3 times now on some dirt roads and whatever, and the bikes are always secure.
Yeah.
Never have issues with them moving. I've also never had issues with the bike rack rattling or making any sounds while I'm driving. It seems very secure in the hitch. Each of the trays, when attached, are very secure. They don't ever wobble or move or do anything like that.
The tools are, you know, just kind of a pain in the ass to use and everything. So then when he came out with this one, which is learning every step of the way and all the refinements, this thing is perfect. You know, I mean, I really like it a lot. All of the problems that I had with the previous racks are gone. So this is the perfect rack.
Just demonstrating how to use the pivoting license plate holder. So I just mounted it on my car for the first time. There's a piece that you end up putting on your car, and then there's another kind of little mount on the rack, and then a piece that you mount to the license plate itself. And so to take it off, there's a little kind of knob that sticks up on the bottom and the top that you just push in, and it pulls right off. So I'm going to show you just quickly what it looks like on the back. Here's the 2 knobs, and there's a pin that slides in and out. And so again, I'm going to show you how to do this. So here's kind of the fatter round part that's going to go in this end right here. And then I just slide that little pin in and let it go, and it's mounted on. It's a little bit more stable on the rack than it is on my car. On my car, I can actually tilt my license plate up quite a bit. I did go for a drive just barely though with it on my car, and it doesn't seem to rattle or make noise, which when I was putting it on, I thought that for sure it would definitely rattle and make noise, but it didn't.
I was actually talking to my buddy who just went for a whole month up near Yosemite with his kids, and he bought some cheap rack and said it like failed the first day he got it, and so he had to return it and get another one. And so, you know, there's definitely convenience and then also just reliability factors when it comes to securing a bike, like you said, that is probably pretty expensive if you don't want to drop it or have it fall off the car. So